for Grant Pure aren't that sensational. 8.72 lifetime with a 4 goals against average.
Referee tonight is Dave Newell, who just got here. We'll explain in a moment. Newell assisted by linesman Ryan Bozak and Swede Knox. And here's the draw as we get underway. Faceoff controlled by young Jeff Smith at the Edmonton defense. In his own end gave it to Huddy. And then McTavish rolled it out to center ice. Doug Wilson got it back into the Oilers zone. Jeff Smith rolled it to the far side. Hudson fields. Hudson centered one. Manson near circle shooting. And a save by Fuhr. Rebound to the Oilers. And Peter Eriksson able to roll it to center ice. Charlie Huddy banks it too far for Joe Murphy. And Doug Wilson feeds Brian Noonan just back in the Hawk lineup. Noonan dumps it into the Oilers zone. Troy Murray on the far side. Bumped by Huddy. Came free into the corner. Here's Thomas stealing from McTavish, trying to center it, and it's picked off and cleared back into the Chicago zone. Steve Conroy chases it down. Long lead pass, deflecting at center ice, where Troy Murray is knocked down on top of the puck, and the whistle sounds. We mentioned Dave Newell. I'm not sure when he was sure he would get here, but he only arrived a short time before the game.
Nice scheduling. He does a game in Los Angeles, and he gets into Edmonton. He had to go through Vancouver. That many flights, and especially the weekends up here in Edmonton. And Newell got in about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Didn't even get a hotel room, just came right to the rink. So, word of caution to the players: don't go over and agitate Newell. He's probably very cranky.
Now the draw taken by Conroy back of his own net, around the boards for Graham. Couldn't get it out. Over to the far side goes Conroy. Tips it loose to center ice. Kevin Lowe there for the Oilers. Lowe's pass stolen by Brown to Graham. There's Graham's feed, picked off by Glenn Anderson. Gets it over the Hawk line. Here's Anderson, far side shooting. Hits the side of the net. Rebound into the corner. Messier bumped by Conroy, and out comes Thomas. Steve Thomas 3-on-3 with a long shot. Fuhr, the blocker, save to Lowe. And Kevin Lowe, a long feed, deflecting in the neutral zone. Then shot down into Chicago territory. Dave Manson, bumped by Messier to the corner, who took it away. Then a shot from Eriksson sails wide. And back at center, Randy Gregg. Gave it to Steve Smith. Now set back into the Chicago zone, taken by Manson. To the right wing boards and away from Larmer. Now the Oilers' Joe Murphy shoots it back into the Chicago zone. Doug Wilson run over behind the net after he made the pass. Bookberger really leveled him. Now here comes Savard over the line. Left it for Larmer. Shoots one. And a save by Fuhr. Then the rebound just over the stick of Secor. Back come the Oilers. Curry over the Hawk line. Looking for Klima in the slot. Rolled loose to the far side. Klima jumps on it, trying to center. Picked off, but Larmer couldn't get it out. Here's Tikkanen. His shot blocked by Brown. Then a centering pass deflected just wide. And the Oilers have a good shift with the 3 Europeans out there. Curry, Tikkanen, and Klima. Here's Peter Klima back over the Hawk line. Got it in behind the goal. Tikkanen tied up there by Brown, and out comes Adam Creighton. Creighton's long feed deflecting into the Oilers zone. Taken by Jeff Smith. Cleared it to Klima. Lost it as he came over the line. And now the Oilers will have to dump it in. Keith Brown meeting Mike Hudson at center ice. Puts it into Edmonton territory. Fuhr comes out to bang it loose along the boards, and Kelly Bookberger got it out to center ice. Here comes Graves. Graves over the line trying to get around McGill, but Yanni came to cut him off. And it's stolen back by Brown, centering a shot and a save. Rebound. Brown was stopped by Chevrier, who made a good first save and a better rebound stop. Early in the game, there's no score.
Alain Chevrier makes a couple of good saves in the early going. The Oilers with a big, strong line out there. Puck dug out by Brown. Shot by Buckberger. Brown goes in, gets the rebound, and from a sharp angle almost puts it by Chevrier. Chevrier reaches out with his right leg and prevents it from going in.
Steve Smith, a long shot, dribbles just wide, and as he was falling, Simpson took a whack but couldn't connect. And it's cleared to center ice. Here's Troy Murray over the line. Cuts right in for the net center. Thomas, he scores! Troy Murray put the puck right on the tape of Thomas's stick, and he made no mistake. 1-0 Chicago.
Well, the Blackhawks have really found themselves a great line with Thomas, Troy Murray, and Dirk Graham. They moved the puck beautifully. Manson, good effort to carry out of his zone. Gets it into Troy Murray. Troy Murray had thoughts of shooting. Saw the defenseman back off. Thomas breaking in. He gave it over to him. And Fuhr playing the shooter. And easy goal for Thomas. He puts it into an empty net.
8th goal of the year for Thomas from Troy Murray and Manson at 3:57. And the Blackhawks able to strike first. Here's Keith Brown at center ice. Looking at ahead. Greg picks it off, then lost it to Thomas. Shooting up off the glass. Graham holds it in to the far corner for Thomas. Steve Thomas had it chopped away back into the Blackhawk zone, and Keith Brown has to hurry back for it. Brown run over by Simpson behind the net, but he got it loose to Larmer. Steve Larmer banks it ahead to Al Secord, and a whistle on the play, and we're going to have a penalty coming up.
The original signal, a high sticking penalty called by Newell on Greg Simpson.
So the Hawks, with a 1-0 lead, will head to the power play.
Blackhawks have a 1-0 lead. They get a power play. High sticking called on Simpson. He left his feet to level Keith Brown. Good call by Newell. And Simpson, who wears that shield, has a tendency to get the stick up in a hurry, and he gets caught by Newell, and the Blackhawks have a chance on the power play.
Ryan Noonan got to center before Tikkanen took it away. Trying to clear it. Doug Wilson got to it in the neutral zone to Noonan. He'll bang it in deep. Far corner taken now by Lowe. Kevin Lowe cleared it to center where Curry pushed it down the rest of the way.
Oilers this year 14th in penalty killing. That's a surprise. Usually they're at the top of the league. Last year 27 shorthanded goals, leading the league.
Led by Esa Tikkanen's 8 shorties last year. Here's Larmer over the line, but Creighton in just ahead of the play.
Meanwhile, the Blackhawks have 25 power play goals and 95 chances. 1 for 3 last night. They scored 2 power play goals and a loss Thursday night to Vancouver. Steve Larmer, one of the valuable players on the Blackhawk power play. He gets a lot of good chances.
Larmer playing in his league-leading 584th consecutive game tonight.
5 goals in his last 5 games.
Here's the draw right to Manson, cutting in, shoots one, and he shot it wide, trying for the short side. Brown a long shot. Fuhr stopped that to Huddy. He hacks it down into the Hog zone. Messier is hustling, gets around Manson, gets to the puck. Messier waits for some help on the boards, and finally Troy Murray came to take it away.
Good recovery by Manson with a puck bouncing over his stick to Speedy Messier. He thought he might hook him down, but he peeled him off to the corner.
Jeff Smith failed to clear it. Manson up the boards to Graham. Now into the corner, Thomas. Back to the line, Manson. Near point, Brown. Deep slot to Manson. The long shot. Fuhr stopped it. Rebound just eludes Thomas. And it's picked up by Messier, who has some time. And he clears. Oh, a tough hop, and Chevrier had to be careful with it. And he got the body in front. Half a minute to go in the Hawk power play. Jeremy Roenick got it over the line to Hudson. Cuts, just offside the call, and otherwise the Hawks had a 2-on-1 developing.
Blackhawks had only won twice in this building in the first 7 years that Edmonton was in the league, but they won both games last year, and it was special teams that did it for Chicago. They scored 5 shorthanded goals and 2 power play goals of the 13 goals they scored in the 2 games here at Northland Coliseum.
Prior to that, victories for the Hawks in this building were so few and far between. I can remember the 2 previous wins. The first time the Hawks ever won a game here came the night after the Oilers had played a very emotional game against the Soviet Union team. And the Edmonton Oilers were far from their best that night. The Hawks squeaked out a win. Then the second time the Hawks ever won a game in this building came a couple of years ago in overtime when none other than the great Wayne Gretzky got detected for leaving the bench too early on a change, got called for too many men on the ice in overtime, and the Hawks scored on that power play to win. Other than that, the Oilers had not only beaten the Hawks consistently, but dominated them. Very few of the games in this rink were ever very close, and Chicago came into town. but not so anymore. The Hawks have solved the riddle. Meanwhile, the Oiler penalty now is over. Both teams back at full strength. Over the line, Peter Eriksson dropped it along the far side, picked off by Roenick. Coming back 2-on-2, Roenick over the line, weaves into the slot, centered it for Sutter, tip! He deflected it right through the crease. And now the Oilers' McTavish comes away. Greg McTavish flips it down into the Hawk zone. Conroy is on it. Got it to Secord on the far side, who cleared it to center. Secord on the left wing board, puts it across to Larmer, crossing the line. Larmer centered, Secord the shot, and a save by Fuhr. Good save there, and a fine chance for Secord. And the Oilers a little vulnerable in their own end here in the early going. Kevin Lowe harassed by Savard. Now Eriksson got to it. Peter Eriksson cleared it to McTavish at center ice. Takes a long shot. Oh, it fluttered just wide as Chevrier muffed it going for the glove. Now back to center ice, Adam Graves. Hawks lead 1-0 with 12 minutes to go in the opening period. In the Chicago zone, Secord lets it roll loose to center. Huddy is there. Dumping it in. He hit Conroy right in the head. Play goes on. Graves in the near corner. Graves tied up by Graham, who kicks it loose along the boards, and out comes Dirk Graham. Conroy hobbling to the Hawk bench, a little dazed after getting hit right in the helmet with that dumping attempt that seems to be none the worse for wear. Bookberger in his own end, tied up by Troy Murray. Now we're going to have a penalty coming up against the Oilers, I believe. And the Blackhawks are going to head to the power play.
Adam Graves, the former Detroit Red Wing, gets a cross-checking penalty, flattened Troy Murray in the corner to the left of Fuhr at 8:35 of the first period. The Blackhawks get their second straight power play. They did not click on the first one.
Here's the draw. Manson at the near point. Put it into the far corner. Troy Murray took a bump now behind the net. Smith dug it out of there, and out comes Messier. Mark Messier races over the Hawk line to McTavish, right in. Here's the shot. He scores! A 2-on-2 situation, and the Hawks mess up their coverage, and McTavish ties the game at 1 with a shorthander.
They have a great propensity for shorthanded goals, this Oiler team. Messier always dangerous, no matter if shorthanded or not. Well, Messier streaking up the ice. 2-on-2 situation, but Manson goes over to Wilson, and they both key on Messier. He's got to leave Messier to Wilson, and Manson's got to take McTavish, but he went over and left McTavish all alone, and McTavish went in, fake, went to the backhand, and flipped it past Chevrier. So a mistake on a 2-on-2 situation by Manson.
I wonder what he might have been thinking about it all. It was 2-on-2 from the Oilers' blue line in, and for some reason Manson decided to go for the puck carrier, and the mistake cost him dearly. Now Curry is steal. He's got a breakaway shorthanded. Curry right in. Shot it wide. Pulled it to his backhand and just missed the top corner. And the Oilers with another great shorthanded chance. Now the Hawks coming back. Noonan steps over the line. Bumped by Gregg, who took him off the puck. Into the far corner it goes. Now Noonan digs it loose to the line. Creighton, his pass deflecting back to center ice. Troy Murray feeds Doug Wilson. Steps to the line, shooting. Look out way upstairs as it deflects into the seat.
53 seconds to go, and Graves telling the Hawks can't wait till that expires because there's been nothing but trouble in this power play situation. McTavish scores a shorthanded goal and a nice feed from Messier, and then Curry gets a breakaway from just inside his own blue line as he beats Savard and Doug Wilson to a loose puck, goes in, goes to his backhand, and shoots it wide.
And McTavish goes shorthanded from Messier and Steve Smith at 8:53 to tie the game. Just under a minute to go on the Hawks power play. Manson in his own end. Gave it to Brown. Back to Manson, who bangs it in. Far corner, Creighton couldn't field it. Now McTavish does. Got it loose to Messier, and he shot it to center ice. Keith Brown. Got it to Adam Creighton, who shoots it in there. Greg Muni back for the Oilers, and he clears it down all the way. Manson for Roenick. Now McGill. McGill shooting it in. Came loose on the far side to Curry. Here come the Oilers. Gary Curry. A spinorama, got it over the Hawk line, and the move winds up in an offside call just as the Edmonton penalty expires. A lot of people said when Wayne Gretzky left the Edmonton team, Gary Curry would fall back to the pack, but what a year, over 100 points last season. And he proved all the doubting Thomases wrong in a big way last season.
102 points to be exact to lead the Oilers in scoring. He's an excellent two-way player. Besides his great offensive abilities, an excellent defensive player, and he's great killing penalties.
In fact, one of the reasons that the Hawks never lost to the Oilers last year, they held Gary Curry off the scoreboard in 3 games. He was unable to achieve a point against Chicago, and Edmonton really needs his offensive production.
They limited all their top stars to very few points. I think Messi only had 2 assists in the games against the Blackhawks.
Halfway through the first period, tied at 1 as McGill flips it into the Oilers zone. Cleared right back out to center. Now Klima got to a loose puck, had it knocked away by Manson, and Dwayne Sutter got it behind the Oiler net. Roenick now into the near corner. Put it in there deep. Sutter took a hit. And now the Oilers' Steve Smith comes away. Rolled it to center, and Anderson racing over the Hawk line. Put it in front. Graves to Anderson. Shoots across the rebound. Oh, Klima couldn't stop in the bouncing puck. Into the near corner it goes. Manson put it up the board. Smith held it in to Graves. His shot is blocked at the Hawks' defense by Manson. And now Roenick whacked it out to center ice. Taken by Peter Klima. Over the line to Graves. Adam Graves on the far side trying to center it. Evrier picks off the pass. Couldn't get it out. Klima, quick shot on the steal, and he shot it high and wide. Klima now in the far corner. Left it there for Anderson, who's stumped by McGill, and Hudson then able to take it away. Aired it into the Edmonton zone, and it's ruled to be an offside play, so the whistle sounds with 8 minutes to go in the opening period. It's 1-1. We pause for a regional break.
Oh, by the Oilers has really inspired the Oilers. Anderson gets around Manson, who was victimized on the short-handed goal. He gets a break. The backhand shot hits the crossbar, and Klima misses an empty net rebound on a waist-high rebound.
Keith Brown deep in his own end. Tied up behind the net, but Troy Murray helped out. He feeds Trent Yanni just back in the lineup after suffering a bruised kidney. This is his first game back. Yanni dumping it in. Now the near corner, Thomas. Jammed it loose to Graham. Along the boards it came to Brown. Here's the long shot. Pure stopped the rebound. Pure stopped Graham, and then he stopped Steve Thomas. Or Murray, rather. In behind the net it goes. McTavish for the Oilers. Got it to the far side. Yanni trying to keep it in. Got it to Thomas, a long wrist shot. Gloved easily by Pure. And now the Oilers' Huddy got it to center. Joe Murphy. Murphy over the Hawk line. Trying to center it. Picked off by Noonan. Racing back into the Oilers' zone. Brian Noonan with Lowe collapsing on him. Noonan got off the shot, and Pure made a good stop. At the line, Wilson a long shot. It's blocked. And in front, Pure still smothered it. Now in behind the net, dug loose by Noonan. As the Hawks come on. Noonan behind Senator Wilson. And a save by Pure. Point blank save on Doug Wilson.
And the last minute and a half belonging to Chicago, but Grant Pure shutting the door. Back-to-back saves on the Troy Murray, Dirk Graham combination. And then some work by Noonan. In behind the net, out front to Doug Wilson, who moved in the hash marks and got all of it. He shot it as hard as he possibly could with a wrist shot. And Grant Pure, with lightning-quick reflexes, kicked it away with the left pad. Prior to that, he made a great save on Dirk Graham as Thomas did some good work The shot by Keith Brown. The rebound back to Dirk Graham. The backhand shot, and then the second attempt by Troy Murray, robbed by Fuhr. Well, Fuhr coming off his best performance of the year in a 3-0 win against Buffalo. He was brilliant in that game. Stopped McGillney in a clear-cut breakaway. He makes a terrific save on Doug Wilson after a good save on a Troy Murray attempt.
Savard wins the draw from Pekin into Brown. A long shot, and Fuhr sprawls to kick it away. Yanni holds it in. Centered one. Through to the near side. Secord centered it. Owen Savard had his stick tied up in front. Couldn't redirect it. Another shot. Fuhr stopped that. And the Hawks rolling along in the Oilers zone. Finally, it's cleared back into Chicago territory. Peter Klima harassed by Yanni. And finally it came loose to center ice. Muni to Tikkanen, looking for Klima. It flies free into the Hog zone. Yanni got a rough ride from Klima behind the net. Savard back to help out, put it around the boards to Larmer. He couldn't clear it. Behind the Chicago goal, Keith Brown, and a Hawk penalties coming up as Curry was knocked to the ice, and Trent Yanni will have a seat. The Oilers get their first power play chance tonight. It's 1-1.
Trent Yanni gets the first Blackhawk penalty, gets a stick into Curry. Curry, in the forechecking role, takes a bit of a dive, but nevertheless, it's a penalty on Yanni for hooking at 14:06. The Oilers, in a 1-1 hockey game, get their first power play of the game.
Dave Smith at the near point. There's it around behind the net. Anderson. Wilson stepped into him. Came loose to Messier. Centered it. A shot. And a save by Chevrier as he stopped the stop shot from Greg Simpson, and now it's held at the side of the net.
Nice soft touch pass by Messier right onto the stick of Simpson, and Simpson let it go on the fly. Simpson stationed in the slot. Took a cross-check in his attempt to let the shot go, and Chevrier had to be very alert. Good goaltending in the early going here in the first period.
Steve Smith cleared it to the far side, then got it back. A long shot tip right to the goal mouth. Hawks clear it, but not out. Into the far corner goes Wilson, and he couldn't get it out. Held in by Gregg. Randy Gregg put it in behind the goal. Cleared back to the boards. Messier tees it up, then put it to Smith. He shoots. And it's deflected just a foot wide of the far post. Messier to Smith in the deep slot. Steve Smith gave it back to Messier. He's harassed by Creighton. Now behind the net to Anderson. Centered it, and Simpson couldn't get any wood on that. Near point, Gregg. Got it through to the far circle. Here's Messier. Going to be another Hawk penalty coming up. Dave Manson, I think, battling with Simpson in front of the net, and the Oilers are going to have a two-man advantage. It's Chicago 1, Edmonton 1.
For the 10th time this year, the Blackhawks will be 2 men short. This time for 1 minute 3 seconds. Trent Yanni in the penalty box already for hooking. Dave Manson for cross-checking. He was in the battle in front with Simpson. And the Oilers with a 2-man advantage. A good opportunity for them to turn this game around in their favor. The 1-1 hockey game where Grant Fuhr has really been brilliant.
Look out here. Here's the draw. Out to the line, then a steal by Creighton away from Tikkanen, and he clears. Creighton, Troy, Murray, and Wilson out there for Chicago as Keenan goes with the 2 forwards and 1 defense. For his 3 players, here's Anderson over the line to Messier. Put it through to Curry near point. Clearing it into the far corner. Anderson to Tikkanen, deep slot. Messier back to Tikkanen. Lets it go. Deflected up high off the glass. Curry holding it in. Got it into the corner. Creighton wants a whistle there if he can get it. Everybody hacking away as the Oilers now jam it loose. Right to Wilson, though, for Murray. Failed to clear it. Oilers hold it in. Boy, a good chance to clear it there. The Hawks unable to do it. Curry near circle. Deep slot to Messier. Messier put it to the far side. Tikkanen back to Messier. Now Curry the one-timer, and a save by Chevrier, and he gives no rebound. And the first Hawk penalty is over now, so Chicago just 1 man short.
The Hawks getting lucky because they had possession. and failed to clear. Doug Wilson with a good job after Creighton tied everyone up in the corner. Got it to Troy Murray, and Troy, rather casual in his backhand attempt, was kept in by the Oilers. They move it around the perimeter. The pass, the shot by Curry, and Doug Wilson comes and clears the front of the net, leaving Chevrier all alone to handle a potential rebound. 56 seconds to go on Manson's cross-checking penalty. Good job by Creighton, Doug Wilson, and Troy Murray in that 5-on-3 situation.
Yanni pounds it around the boards, and it gets away from Gregg down all the way. Randy Gregg starts Curry away. Got it to Tikkanen, racing over the hawk line on Yanni. Into the far corner they go. Puck came loose there. Behind the net, the Oilers now center one. It deflects to the line. Gregg held it in. Tikkanen cleared it behind the Hawk goal. Brown put it to the near side and out to center ice where Steve Smith controls. Now Curry steps over the Chicago line. Gary Curry to the near circle. Dropped it to Klima. His shot blocked at the defense by Graham. Now Keith Brown had it knocked loose to the far side. Picked up by Curry for Tikkanen. Deep slot to Gregg. Back to Esa Tikkanen. His pass deflects into the corner. Then it came back to Tikkanen. Centered one. Chevrier stuffs the pass. Now the Hawk penalties are all over. Both teams at full strength. Here's Curry. He couldn't complete a wraparound. Klima centered a shot. Hit the goal post. Tikkanen rattled one off the near post from point-blank range. And Graham clears it back into the Edmonton zone. Both teams at full strength, and the Hawks have weathered a two-man disadvantage for just over a minute. The game remains tied at 1. Here come the Oilers. McTavish a drive. Chevrier the save. And the rebound squirts loose to the near corner. Now Dennis Savard races back into the Oilers zone. Savard into the slot, centered one low, blocked the pass, and then picked it off. Out to McTavish. He cleared it over the line. Erickson around to check, put it in front, a shot. And it was shot wide low, went right through his legs with a backhander and a nifty-looking shot, but it missed the target. Greg Muni holds it in the Hawk zone. To Murphy, cutting in, shoots. And a save by Chevrier. Rebound to Noonan. Ryan Noonan, a one-hand clearing attempt, a weak effort, but Hudson now able to bail him out. Got it to Savard, who shot it into the center ice area. Minute and a half to go in the period. As the Oilers dump it in, Wayne Sutter got it to Steve Thomas in his own end. He gave it away to Messier for Simpson. His shot is blocked as Keith Brown reacted well defensively. Back into the Oilers zone. Huddy whacked it to center ice. Now here comes Messier over the Hawk line. Messier in on McGill. Moves behind the net where McGill knocked him down, and Thomas now looking to clear. He finally does bounce it to center ice. And Jeremy Roenick has it there, chipping it deep into the Edmonton zone. We're into the final minute of the opening period. Here's Jeff Smith for the Oilers. His pass is picked off by Yanni, who dumps it in. Charlie Huddy got it to Jeff Smith. Troy Murray stepped into him in the corner. Now the puck comes loose to Huddy. Creighton took him off the puck. Troy Murray trying to jam it out of there. Murray behind the Oiler goal, harassed by McTavish, who kicked it loose to the near side. Klima reverses, and now Huddy tries the far board. And it slides free back to the Hawk line. 20 seconds to go in the period. Now a two-line pass made by Chicago, so the whistle sounds. Brent Yanni wearing a protective flak jacket. We mentioned he missed the last several games, having suffered a bruised kidney a few games ago, and this is his first action since that injury. John Muckler's Edmonton Oilers on home ice this year, managing so far just 3 wins, 4 losses, and 3 ties. So just 3 victories out of their first 10 starts here in the Northland Coliseum. Adam Graves, one of the 4 players acquired in that trade with Detroit. Jeff Sharple's not here with the Oilers at the moment. The other 3 forwards are. And oddly enough, all three of the players acquired from Detroit, every one of them looking for their first goal as an Oiler. They've all played 8 games, Murphy, Klima, and Graves, and none of them's been able to score a goal yet. Now in the Oilers zone, it's cleared around the boards, and that's going to do it for the opening period. So some wide open action here in the Northlands Coliseum in the first 20 minutes, trying to kill penalties.
They've been masters at it in the last 9 years.
Here we go, the second period. It's dumped into the Edmonton zone. Everybody hacking away behind the net now. Thomas came up with it. Thomas to the near side. That was Noonan, rather, and his pass deflecting back to Joe Murphy, who races into the Hawk zone. Couldn't complete the play, though, as Wilson got back to cover him up. At the line, Huddy with a long shot. Gloved by Chevrier. He'll hang on with Murphy right there. And the whistle sounds.
Charlie Huddy just putting it towards the front of the net. Scored a goal. His first goal of the night in a 3-0 win over Buffalo. His first goal in 30 regular season games dating back to last March. Huddy is a good offensive defenseman.
Face-off will be to the left of Alain Chevrier. Troy Murray, who assisted on the Hawk goal, now has a 7-game point streak with 2 goals and 6 assists in the last 7, counting tonight. Here's the draw. Graham sends it ahead too far for Murray. Steve Smith getting back. Smith tips it ahead to Anderson. Now Messier. Here to center ice for Anderson. Anderson trying to get around Brown. He centered one. Conroy able to break up the play, and here comes Thomas out. Dave Thomas dumps it in. Meanwhile, Conroy and Simpson tied up way behind the Hawk net still. Here's Troy Murray in the Oilers zone. Centered it. Comes through to the near side. Thomas trying to roll it in front. Picked off by Messier. Mark Messier motors into the Hawk zone. Put it to Anderson. Simpson. He scored. Craig Simpson right around the check and fired it in. 2-1 Edmonton.
Well, Dave Manson victimized in the first Edmonton goal in a shorthanded situation. Gets beat at the blue line. Mark Messier picked it up in his own zone. He's got great wheels. He cuts into the middle of the ice at the checker red line, drifts over to the off wing, slips it by Manson, who moves to the middle of the ice into Simpson. Simpson gets around Yanni and goes to his forehand and beats Chevrier to give the Oilers a 2-1 lead, 1 minute and 14 seconds into the second period.
Simpson from Messier at 1:14, and the Oilers lead for the first time in the game. Here's Conroy in his own end, clearing it to center ice. Kevin Lowe shooting it back in. Conroy put it around the board. Klima picks it off. Klima tied up by Keith Brown, though, and Larmer feeds Savard. Dennis Savard over the Oiler line. On the center one, Larmer hits the deck as Tikkanen able to knock him down, and Esset Tikkanen sends it away to center. Here comes Klima, racing it over the Hawk line. And the play is ruled offside. Boy, this line that the Oilers have put together, Curry, Klima, and Tikkanen, all 3 European-born players, and when they get rolling, they are fun to watch, unless you're a defenseman or a goaltender.
Well, Klima has been a prolific scorer in his brief career with Detroit last year. Over 20 goals in just over 40 games last year. They've got a lot of speed, the Oilers. They still have those speedy forwards. Messier, Anderson, Curry. Now Klima. And Tikkanen has great wheels as well.
Meanwhile, after that last shift, as Jerry Curry came off the ice, he limped down toward the Oilers dressing room, so we'll see if we can get a report if he's gone for very long. Now back of his own goal, Doug Wilson. Puts it around to the right wing boards. Noonan failed to clear it. Into the corner it goes. Manson lets the puck lay there. The Oilers dig it out, and it's deflected finally back into the Edmonton zone. Charlie Huddy gets away from Hudson. Now clears it up the right wing board. Dave Brown put it to Graves. Put it over the line. Bookberger cuts right in. And a last-minute poke check by Manson, who was beaten again. and at the last second dove to poke check it away. Van Dorp got it to center ice, and Noonan pushes it into Oiler territory. Taken by Jeff Smith. Cleared it to the near side, held into Van Dorp in the corner. He centered one right through the goal crease. McGill chopped it around to the near side. Now the Oilers clear it not out. Van Dorp keeping it in, trying to center it. Randy Gregg picks it off, failed to clear it, and a quick shot from Sutter goes wide. Bookberger hammers it down all the way. This will be icing against the Oilers. Edmonton 2, Chicago 1. Face-off coming to the left to Grant Fuhr. Messier and Murray getting ready. Mark Messier, who has scored 30 or more the last 4 years. Now the draw to Messier at center puts Anderson over the line. Then Anderson races in behind, centered one. Messier had his stick tied up by Brown and couldn't let one go. Now Graham got it to Thomas at center. Puts it into the Oilers' zone. Fuhr clears it around the boards. Graham held it in. Kurt Graham bumped in the corner. Thomas trying to jam it out of there. Dave Newell says, play on, boys. And finally the puck comes loose along the near side to Thomas. Now he's harassed, and it came to Murray, and Troy Murray fired a wrist shot wide of the net. Glenn Anderson bumped in the corner. Stolen by Graham to Troy Murray. Left it in the corner for Thomas. Thomas rolled it in behind the Oiler goal. Steve Smith poked it loose on the near side, and out comes Messier. His pass picked off by Thomas. Now Messier chopped it into the corner. Brown pokes it around to the near side. Pekinen's on it. To the line, held in by Muni. Got it in behind the Hawk net. Here's Messier into the near circle. Mark Messier to the deep slot. One hand on his stick. Rolled it loose on the far side, and Dennis Savard came up with it there, but his pass deflects into the seats. And meanwhile, some battling behind the play is Simpson, who, since he came to the Oilers, Dale, and the meetings between Edmonton and Chicago, we've seen Craig Simpson on more than one occasion get involved with Hawk players, and not always in a fair manner. This time, however, he draws a penalty on Keith Brown.
Simpson has turned into an agitator. Pekin, another player on the Oilers that agitates the opposition as well. Simpson with the big shield even forced Doug Wilson to get into an altercation with him last year. So that tells you how much of an agitator he's turned into, because Wilson, I think throughout his whole career, has had maybe 2 majors. Well, Keith Brown gets a penalty, and the Blackhawks trailing 2-1 on the road, their 3rd game in 4 nights. Need to kill off this power play. They don't want to fall behind by 2 goals against a very speedy Edmonton Oilers team. And a hot Grant Fuhr. This will be the 3rd power play of the game for Edmonton. They had a 2-man advantage in the first period for over a minute. They didn't capitalize on it.
Now the draw to the Oilers. Steve Smith shooting it in. Pekkinen pokes it behind the net. Wilson jammed it loose along the board. Troy Murray able to battle it out to center ice. Klima races right back over the line. Klima feeding on the far side. Drops it for Steve Smith. He's tied up by Creighton, who bangs it loose to center ice. Now Klima cleared it to Pekkinen, who flips a long shot into the near corner. Joe Murphy after it there. Tied up by Troy Murray. And Klima dug it out to the line. Steve Smith put it to Gregg. Deep slot to Smith. For Pekkinen near board. Centered it. Open in front. Murphy put it in front. And he failed to shoot it. I couldn't believe it. Manson picks off the pass. Murphy just reluctant to let the backhander go. He was wide open right at the hash mark. Now on the near board, everybody battles away. Came loose to Manson. He lost it to Klima. Big save by Chevrier. Klima to the line for Gregg. Here's a long shot, missing the far post, and Karam's all the way back to center ice. 45 seconds to go in the Oiler power play. Klima In behind the net, got a rough ride from Manson. Then Tikkanen came up with it. That's a Tikkanen. Bounced it loose to Steve Smith. Put it back to Tikkanen. Lets it go, and a save by Chevrier. Rebound. Shot wide. Great chance for Klima, but he missed the net. Messier trying to center. Manson steals. Then he coughed it up. Failed to clear it. Wilson has to chase back for it. Got it to Graham with time, and he bounced it to the Oiler line. Now, the Oilers, Craig Simpson to Messier. Messier in the corner, centered, couldn't get it through Yanni. Poked in behind the goal. Anderson centered it. Chevrier blocked the pass to Graham. Out come the Hawks, but a penalty coming up again against Chicago. They kill off one penalty, and now will take another one right away. The Oilers head right back to the power play. They lead 2-1.
4 seconds after Yanni or Brown's penalty expired, Trent Yanni gets a cross-checking penalty, and guess who is the brunt of it? Craig Simpson once again. Blackhawks trying to get at Simpson, and twice now in this period he's drawn penalties, and another power play situation for Edmonton, their 4th of the game.
Glenn Anderson bangs it into the near corner. Manson bumped by Simpson, who steals. Simpson walks in, shoots. He just missed the far post with a backhander. At the line, Jeff Smith held it and then gave it away. The race is on. Troy Murray against Smith. Cut for the net. Jeff Smith, a diving poke check. And the play continues. Now Messier. Oders to center. Graham poke checked it away, but the Oilers able to dump it in. Manson behind the goal. Finds the opening and clears it down all the way. Jeff Smith gave it away to Larmer trying to center. And it deflects loose to Esa Tikkanen. Tikkanen with room. Motors to the Hawk line. Stops on the near board. And sets up shop there. Esa Tikkanen in the Oiler power play. Put it into the corner. Now Tikkanen gets it back. To the line, Gregg. Touch pass to Steve Smith. His shot. Chevrier stopped it. Rebound to Larmer. And he clears.
Troy Murray would have had a clear-cut breakaway, except the puck hit the official's skate and that enabled Smith to catch up to him and poke him off the puck.
Steve Smith deep in his own end with half a minute remaining on the Oiler power play. Now Tikkanen will dump it in. Chevrier pushed it to the near side, bounced loose to Noonan, then away from him. The Oilers keep it in. Steve Smith with a deep slot. Harassed by Noonan, but he fought off the check. Smith moves in behind the Hawk goal. Now got it to Tikkanen on the near side. To the line, Randy Gregg's long shot. Tip! Oh, Chevrier stopped the deflection by Steve Smith. Back of the net, Murphy digs it out. Centering, deflects to Gregg, then he overstates it, and the Hawks come away. The Chicago penalty is over. Now Noonan is yanked down, and Chicago turns the tables, and the Hawks will head to the power play.
Blackhawks penalty killing has been superb in this game. They've killed off 4 Edmonton power plays, one of them a 2-man disadvantage. Klima gets a tripping penalty right after Yanni's penalty expired, and a good defensive play by rookie Jeff Smith to knock Troy Murray off the puck. He dives, gets the puck, and puts Troy Murray to the ice in a short-handed situation. Blackhawks now get their 3rd power play. Klima for tripping at the 9-minute mark. They're 0 for 2.
Steve Larmer got it to Savard, leaving for Manson, who gains the line. Rolled it to the near side, and Troy Murray ran right into the linesman. Couldn't get to the loose puck. And now the Oilers, Kevin Lowe deep in his own. Now Newell is shaken up. Dave Newell down on the far board, getting some assistance from the linesman. The play continues. On one side, Swede Knox got in Troy Murray's way, and something happened to Dave Newell on the other side, and he was face down on the ice for a moment. But the play goes on. Here's Roenick racing over the line to Thomas. Centered one. Just too far for Creighton in front. Anderson for the Oilers. Clears it back the other way. A minute left on the Hawk power play. Steve Thomas rolled it out to center. Here comes Roenick over the line. Peels off on the far board, then trying to center. Great right in. You're the save! And it clears back to center ice. It went through two players to get to Adam Creighton, who had Fuhr down and out, but couldn't lift it over his arm. Here comes Noonan. His shot is blocked. In behind the net goes Roenick, who's knocked down. Noonan dug it out the wraparound right through the crease. At the line, Manson trying to center it. Roenick to the near point. Wilson gave it back to Roenick along the board. Roenick hanging on, trying to center it. Huddy picked it off, and in his effort to clear, he shot it over the glass into the crowd.
That was the first shot on goal with the Blackhawks. It took them 10.5 minutes to get the first shot. It was a power play situation. The puck somehow got to him. Roenick peels off just inside the Oiler blue line. His pass intended for Thomas. It misses him, misses Huddy, goes to Creighton. He pulls it to his forehand, and a good diving save with the right arm by Fuhr. Creighton just couldn't put it over him. Take a look at it from Fuhr's perspective. In behind the net, and somehow he made the save on Creighton. 12 seconds remaining on the power play for the Blackhawks. 12 shots on goal in the first period, but only one here in this second period.
Did I miss something, or did Dennis Savard not see the ice on this power play?
He hasn't seen the ice this period.
Heath Brown with a long shot and a save. Rebound! Shot just over the crossbar. Comes to the near corner. Now the Oiler penalty over. Both teams back at full strength. Here's Klima fresh out of the box, racing in on Brown. He's knocked down. There'll be a penalty. Conroy yanking Klima down, and the Oilers, in a period full of special teams play, head back to the power play.
A penalty-filled second period. The Oilers, though, get their third power play of the period. Klima hooked down from behind by Conroy. Down he goes, and Conroy goes to the penalty box.
Here's the draw to the line. Gregg, his long shot, the save, rebound, they score! Joe Murphy, his first goal as an Oiler in his 9th game with Edmonton. Didn't get much on the rebound, but enough to get it over the line. 3-1 Edmonton.
Well, you can't fault the Troy Murray. Won the draw cleanly. The Manson had all kinds of time to fire at the length of the ice, and he just pulled it back and fanned on his clearing attempt. Kept in the shot on goal. The rebound gets away from Manson, who lets Murphy get in behind him, and he puts it in for a 3-1 lead. And Dave Manson's having a terrible night here at the Northlands Coliseum. And Murphy gets his first goal as an Oiler on the power play, and the Oilers take a 3-1 lead.
And Mike Keenan's going to lift Alain Chevrier. That's all for Chevrier. Jacques Cloutier is going to come into the game here.
Well, Murphy gets his first goal as an Oiler and 4th of the year. Randy Gregg, the good doctor, gets an assist on the power play as he intercepted Dave Manson's clearing attempt. Well, the Oilers with a 3-1 lead now are 1 for 5 on the power play, and Jacques Cloutier replaces Alain Chevrier. And you can't fault Chevrier on any of those.
Not at all. Keenan has done this before, though. He's shown a quick hook if his goaltender's not playing well. That's not the case tonight, but he has also shown a hook just in an effort to get his team turned around, and I think that's exactly what's happening here, because if you're going to bench anybody, you better put number 3 on the bench. Manson's really floundering out there tonight. So Cloutier comes in as Keenan tries to stir the pot a little bit and get his team to right the ship here in the second period.
3 power plays in this second period. At a 6-3 disadvantage last night in Calgary in power plays. And it's 5-3 right now with the Oilers with 3 of the 4 power plays in the second period. And one of them a 2-man advantage for over a minute. I think more than anything that shows fatigue. When you start taking penalties, things are just not, well, you're always one step behind, and you get tired and you take a hooking and holding penalty.
3-1 in favor of the Oilers. Randy Gregg out of his own end. Cleared it to Bookberger. Kelly Bookberger battles his way to center ice. Trying to dump it in. Bounce loose in front. Here's a shot by Brown and a save by Cloutier. Welcome to the game, Jacques Cloutier. A fortunate bounce right to Dave Brown. who was in alone, and Cloutier shut the door.
Dave Brown, acquired late last season from the Philadelphia Flyers, hasn't scored in 8 games this year, but he gets 2 good chances in this game. One in the first period, and right there he puts it through the legs of Cloutier, but somehow Cloutier was able to shut the pads on top of it. It looked like it was going to trickle through. Puck dumped in, deflected right to Brown. Brown shot almost going through the legs of Cloutier, but Cloutier able to finally put the pads on top of it. Cloutier this year with 8 wins, 2 losses, and a tie.
Well, wait a minute. Don't read his record too fast. Here comes Chevrier right back. So Mike Keenan with the double hook. Cloutier comes in for just under a minute. And Alain Chevrier comes right back into the game. Here's the draw to Manson, clearing it out to the Oiler line. Now a steal by Steve Thomas. He shoots, and a save by Fuhr. Rebound Simpson. Here's it around to the near side. Muni couldn't get it out. Wilson's pass, though, is picked off. And back at center, the Hawks regroup. Manson shooting it in. The near board, Troy Murray. He poked it into the corner. Graham battling there with Messier. And now Muni falling on top of the puck, and the whistle sounds.
The only line that seems to have any consistency as far as the Blackhawks are concerned. Every time on the ice, they have pressure on the Oilers. 7:22 to go. The Blackhawks only with 4 shots on goal. The last shot by Thomas was a good shot, almost surprised Fuhr. He wasn't quite ready for it. He's been cold in this second period with no work. Al Secord back in the lineup.
Last time he played was October the 14th. He has sat out the last 18 straight games.
In the first period, he had a couple of chances. Nice give and go with Larmer. The good save by Fuhr. Secord on the left wing with Savard and Larmer. That line holds a record for most goals by a Blackhawk line, 132. They achieved that in 1982-83 season.
Now the draw to the line. Keith Brown flips it up the boards. It eludes Secord, and Gregg swings it around to the far side. Out to center and Larmer. Back into the Oilers zone. Bounce one ahead for Secord. Racing in behind the net. Leaves it in the corner. Savard harassed by Tikkanen. Larmer digging it out. Larmer trying to fend off a checker. Then it's knocked loose to the Oilers. Here comes Joe Murphy. His pass broken up to Larmer at center. Steps over the line trying to shoot one. Murphy got back to tie up Larmer's stick, and he whiffed on the shot attempt. Cleared to center. Manson tied up a man, but carrying on is Klima. The shot, and a save by Chevrier. Tikkanen put it right on the stick of Klima, and Chevrier with a lightning-quick glove.
That would have been an unfortunate situation for the Blackhawks. Dennis Savard would have had a breakaway. He was pulled down by Tikkanen. No call. The Oilers counter, come right back, and Klima almost pumps it by Chevrier, who was hooked for a brief moment. Comes right back in and makes a good glove save on a wicked wrist shot. Dennis Savard yanked down by Tikkanen from behind. When Larmer was trying to put it for Savard, he would have had a breakaway.
Six and a half minutes to go in the second period. The Oilers have struck for 2 here in the middle period and have opened up a 3-1 lead. Hudson and McTavish now to the left of Chevrier. The draw to the line. Muni held it in for a moment. Now McTavish to the deep slot. Centered it just too far for Anderson in front. Cleared behind the Hawk goal. Doug Wilson. Got it ahead for Sutter. He's run over in front of the Oiler bench as Muni clobbered him. Now low for Edmonton. Pass deflecting in the neutral zone. Finally corralled by Anderson. Sutter stepped into him and knocked him down on the board. Now away comes McTavish. Into the hog zone. Craig McTavish trying to center it. Wilson blocked the pass. And now Roenick the other way. Jeremy Roenick putting Hudson over the line. Centered it just behind Sutter, though. He put it in front, and the Oilers there to steal. Anderson sends it back the other way. There's going to be an icing call against the Oilers. It's Edmonton 3, Chicago 1.
Blackhawks with 4 shots on goal in the second period. They had 4 shots on goal in the third period last night. They had a good first period as far as chances and shots with 12. Grant Fuhrer's had little work here in the second period. He's had 2 tough saves in the entire period. One on Creighton in the power play and another on a Steve Thomas blast.
Kelly Buchberger over the Hawk line. Put it behind the goal. Conroy got it to the far side. Noonan rolled it ahead for Creighton. Looking for Van Dorp, who tried to kick it to his stick, but it winds up deep in the Oilers' zone. Gregg clearing it out to center ice. Here comes Dave Brown. Puts it in there deep. Now Noonan trying to clear it. Hit referee Newell. The Oilers keep it in. Big scrum along the far side now, and the whistle sounds.
The Blackhawks talked about how great a shape they've been in the playoffs last year, and the great start they've had this year. They talked about conditioning, but it's been a tired Blackhawk team in the last 3 hockey games. Game against Vancouver. Last night in the second half of the hockey game against Calgary, where they blew a 3-goal lead. They had a pretty good first period. The second period, thanks to penalties, has really taken their starts out of their attack. Now the Oilers have been fresh and waiting for the Blackhawks, and they've had an edge in this second period.
Steve Thomas over the Oiler line. Huddy has lost his stick. Here's Manson on the near side. He overskates it, and Charlie Huddy just diving headlong. Bats it with his gloves to center ice. He had lost his stick, but still able to get the job done. Manson over the Oiler line, and he makes an extra move, and the play is offside. Veteran Charlie Huddy still found a way to get it done even without the lumber.
Lost his stick just inside the Edmonton Oiler blue line. The pass missed Manson, and then he just dives at it, pokes it into the neutral zone. Good heads-up play by Huddy. He's been around. He's been a very steady performer over the years with this Oiler organization.
Brent Yanni brings it around the boards, out to center and low. Now Muni. Muni's pass, rolling loose, taken by Klima. Gets it into the deep slot. Klima pulls it with forehand. Shoot! And a save by Chevrier. And Peter Klima has really been a very inspired performer here tonight for the Oilers.
Well, he's been a hot killer over the years. He's had some prolific numbers against the Blackhawks when with Detroit, and he's been having a field day tonight. He hasn't scored a goal, but that's unbelievable, the chances he's had in this game. Great stick handling. He turns Yanni around and then lets a wrist shot go that Chevrier juggled momentarily.
We have not seen Yeri Curry return after his first shift of this second period. He limped off the ice, and information has been hard to come by from the Oiler locker room. Got the gag order going, I guess. And
for Jaja down there.
4 minutes to go in the second period. 3-1 in favor of the Oilers. Draw. Anderson puts it behind the Chicago net. Taken by Manson. Off it up to McTavish. Greg McTavish. He's in the near corner. Murphy or Anderson rather, and it's poked away from him back to the center ice area. And now it hit an Edmonton player who was leaning over the board.
The pace wide open in the first period, end-to-end action, and especially at even strength. But this second period, most of the work has been done with the man advantage. The Oilers have had 3 power plays, scored on one of them. The Blackhawks have had 1 power play, but when at even strength, there hasn't been much offense at either end. But that suits the Oilers fine. They've got a 3-1 lead. The Blackhawks have to find some way of getting some energy and getting some momentum and putting some pressure on the Oilers if they want to get back in this hockey game.
Greg Muni. Big pass stolen by Yanni. Something around at center, and the Oilers get to it. Buchberger a long shot. Blocker saved by Chevrier. Now taken by Trent Yanni. Yanni rolled it out to center where Conroy bangs it in. Kevin Lowe put it to the near side. Taken by Noonan to Conroy. A long shot to Creighton in front, shooting. Fuhr, rebound, they score! I think it was Van Dorp who poked in the rebound after Fuhr made a miraculous save on Creighton. And the Hawks draw to within 1 at 3-2.
A harmless-looking play. The shot from the point by Conroy, not much on it. Looked like it was going to go wide. Ryan Noonan gets it to Conroy. Conroy just sort of dumps it towards the net. Creighton picks it up, turns, lets a backhand shot go with Fuhr down. Fuhr somehow gets it. But Van Dorp right there, and he puts it into the empty net on the rebound. And the Blackhawks all of a sudden right back in it, trailing 3-2 with 3 minutes and 4 seconds to go in the second period.
Third goal of the year for Wayne Van Dorp. Creighton and Conroy assisting at 16:56. And a little wind in the Chicago sails now. Dirk Graham leading Manson to center. Manson over the Oiler line, trying to flip it into the slot. It's picked off there by Huddy. And back comes Anderson. Over the line for Messier. To the trailer. Jeff Smith a drive. Anderson rebound. Oh, what a save by Chevrier. Glenn Anderson, a glorious rebound chance. And Chevrier with highway robbery. Late in the second. 3-2 Oilers.
Mark Messier spots the late coming Jeff Smith, the last man back. He's all alone, cranks up a snapshot. Chevrier out of the net to challenge, and then on the rebound, he makes a terrific save on Glenn Anderson. Anderson, whose numbers last year really deteriorated. He had a difficult season with only 16 goals last season, and he's snake-bitten there by Chevrier.
In the Oilers zone, Larmer on the far side with a shot that deflects up high over the glass and into the crowd.
Savard has seen limited action in this hockey game. A lot of penalties in the first period. A lot of penalties in the second period have kept him off the ice. He's normally out there killing penalties. He and Troy Murray get together and kill parts of the power play, but this second period he's seen maybe 3 shifts total. Savard with 12 points in his last 6 games.
He and Tikkanen for the draw.
Well, really lively in this building, isn't it?
I've heard libraries that are louder than this. Now into the corner it goes. Everybody hacking at it. Came loose along the board. Taken by Larmer. Centered it. Savard too well covered in front. And out comes Anderson. That's Murphy, rather, Joe. Murphy over the Hawk line. Stops in the near corner. Drops it to Tikkanen, cutting in, centered it. And it deflects away to Savard. Dennis Savard bouncing it into the Oilers zone. Secord to the corner against Gregg. And Tikkanen came to take it away. Now we're going to have a penalty coming up as Wayne Sutter was trying to get to the puck carrier. Tikkanen knocked him down. And the Blackhawks will get a power play opportunity here late in the second.
Tikkanen taking a selfish penalty, not thinking of the team. He was knocked down by Sutter. Sutter went at him and took a clean hit at him. Knocked Tikkanen down. Tikkanen just eluded a good hit. flipped him knee to knee. Peekinen went down, and he just got up. He had every intention of getting back at Sutter right away, and he got the stick into him, and Sutter went flying to the ice. And a penalty called on Peekinen at 18:23 of the second period. Bad play on Peekinen's part, and the Blackhawks, trailing through 3-2, get their fourth power play chance.
Face off at the Oiler line. The draw to Muni. He clears. Now, the Hawks get it away to center. Graham got it to the line. There's Graham to the near side. Leaves it there for Troy Murray. To the line, Wilson. Up the boards to Murray. Side of the net, Graham. Trying to center it. He just missed Thomas in front, who couldn't connect, trying to stuff it in. Thomas far board. Bounced it up into the air. Came down in the slot to Noonan. For Thomas, he's ran on the one-timer. Bounced loose to the Hawks, Troy Murray. Murray leaves it for Brian Noonan. Near point to Wilson. Here's the long shot. Buell rebound. And it's deflected just too far for Murray. Now Graham in the near circle. There's Graham's pass bouncing high behind the net. Thomas dug it out. Got it to Noonan far side. 35 seconds for the period. Brian Noonan on the far board. Moves to the slot, and then his shot is blocked by McTavish. Back to center ice. Wilson flips it ahead, picked off by McTavish, and he clears.
And McTavish, a solid two-way player, an excellent defensive forward, makes some great blocks.
Creighton gains the line. Now Larmer in the slot, whiffing on the one-timer. Here's Creighton, centered it, and Larmer couldn't get any wood on that. And now Messier clears it. That's going to do it for the second period.
The Blackhawks missing some great opportunities. Steve Thomas, with a couple of fans on one-timers, get off to a quick start here in the third period, trailing by a goal. Get word that Larry Curry pulled a groin, and we lost the rest of this game at least.
Blackhawks dump it in. Troy Murray on the far side. Flips it around behind the Oiler net. Now Savard dug it out of there to the line, and Wilson lets it go. Didn't get much on it. It fluttered up high. On the near board, Larmer trying to work it loose. He did to Savard. A touch pass deflected to the line. Noonan held it into Larmer. The Oiler penalty is over. Both teams at full strength. Savard behind the net against Messier. Savard held the puck, walks out in front to Larmer, fires. You're the save. Rebound. Troy Murray couldn't find it. He centered it. And a goal saved by Randy Gregg on Savard. Now Wilson's shot is blocked. And the Oilers come out with it. Randy Gregg kept the Oilers in front, saving a sure goal with Fuhr down and out. Now in the Hog zone, here's Larmer. Took a bump from Peekinen, failed to get it out. Back of the net goes Troy Murray. Murray gave it to Wilson, who has room to center. He dumps it in. Roenick over-skating it, and it's cleared back into the Hog zone. Taken by Wilson. Flips it up the board to Roenick. Back to Doug Wilson, who looks for Clayton, but the pass broken up. And Kevin Lowe feeds Essa Peekinen on the right side. Peekinen putting Klima over the line. Brown swept it off his stick. Klima chasing to the corner. A couple of players collide there. Klima dug it out. Walked to the side of the net. Had it taken away there. And Manson able to push it into the center ice area. And now a penalty behind the play. And I think the Oilers are going to go to an early power play here in the third. Edmonton leads 3-2.
Adam Creighton gets a penalty for high sticking, but the Blackhawks in an early power play. It's a great opportunity to tie the hockey game. Dennis Savard to Larmer. Larmer cranked it up. Juggled by Fuhr. The rebound hacked at by Troy Murray. He keeps the play alive. Back to Savard. The one-time shot blocked by Gregg, saving a sure goal. Meanwhile, Creighton for high sticking. And the sixth power play of the game for the Oilers. They're 1 for 5.
Mark Messier puts Murphy over the line. Joe Murphy left it for Messier, far corner. Back to the line, Gregg to Steve Smith, trying to center it. Picked off by Manson, but he couldn't get it out. Messier in front to Klima, couldn't kick it forward to his stick, and Manson pounds it out to center ice. Now the Oilers, Murphy to the line, shooting. He scores! Joe Murphy, a bullet from just inside the blue line, beating Chevrier to the stick side. 4-2 Oilers.
Murphy gets his second goal as an Oiler and 5th of the season with a blast. Just inside the blue line, he beats Chevrier inside the post to the stick side. Messier with a behind-the-back pass to Murphy. They circle back into the zone, 10 feet inside the line, and he pumps it by Chevrier. Chevrier, a good 12 feet outside the crease. And Murphy just cranks it by him to the stick side.
Joe Murphy in his first 8 games as an Oiler had failed to score a goal. He did have 2 assists, but a big night tonight with a pair of goals for Joe Murphy. Messier and Gregg get the assist at 2:19. So the Oilers regain a 2-goal advantage as the Hawks dump it in. Andy Gregg put it around the board. Taken by Simpson, who bounced it to center. McTavish has a man breaking just too far for Anderson on the shovel pass. And now Graham has a problem with Anderson, but Manson got back to help out. Out it to Steve Thomas. He rolled it down into the Oilers zone. Charlie Huddy is on it. Huddy cleared it not out. Wilson held it in to the slot for Savard shooting. He fired it wide as the puck was rolling on edge. Now Wilson held it in. Trying to center it. Huddy picked it off. And Charlie Huddy leads Essen Tikkanen on left wing. Dumping it into the Hawk zone. Secord back. Hit it to the far side. Huddy to the corner. Moves behind the net. Knocked down by Wilson. And it's taken away by Manson. To Savard has Secord breaking. Oh, the pass just eludes Secord, who was in all alone, but Savard missed him with the lead. And the Oilers Tikkanen cleared it back into the Hawk zone. Here's Klima racing after it. Klima coughed it up to Brown. And back come the Blackhawks. Adam Creighton gets over the Oiler line, rolled it in behind the net. Kevin Lowe bangs it back the other way. There's going to be an icing call against the Oilers. It's early in the third. It's 4-2 Edmonton.
You guys playing the piano in there. You think you were in a lounge somewhere with a...
Go ahead, sing along.
Like Melancholy Baby.
Play Take Me Home Country Road. Here's the draw taken by Muni. He cleared it to center ice. Troy Murray steps back over the line, put it to Thomas. Here it comes, and a save by Fuhr, and he gives no rebound.
That's an excellent save because he was partially strained, and Thomas, a great shot, has a lot of velocity, cranked it up, and a drop pass from Troy Murray. This line has really been consistent for Chicago. Every time on ice, they've had opportunities to score. Fuhr making the save, not quite sure where the puck was, but it was in his equipment and no rebound.
Greg Muni swept it to the far side, deflected to center, and Troy Murray is there. Murray flips it to Thomas, who shoots it in. Muni or Messier, nice touch pass to the far side, and Anderson carrying it down into the Blackhawks zone. Manson chasing after it. Cleared it around the boards all the way back into Edmonton territory. Kevin Lowe gets back for it. Now it's cleared to Messier, who lost it to Hudson. Hudson to the corner. Rolled it around to the near side. Simpson got a rough ride from Larmer. Now Lowe got it loose to Messier along the boards. He wants a whistle if he can get it. Conroy trying to hack it loose. And Messier, the muscular centerman, able to pin it up against the board.
In jeopardy of having a 6-game scoring streak stopped. Was robbed in the first half minute of the third period by Randy Gregg. He had a An empty net opportunity, but somehow the good doctor, Randy Gregg, only in the second game this season, missed the first part of the season with a bad groin pull. Flew out of the net, went down on one knee, and stopped Savard's attempt. That would have tied the score, and then the Oilers come right back on the power play of their own, and Murphy with a long shot beating Chevrier, and it's a 4-2 lead.
Creighton against Brookberger for this draw. It came to Conroy, who shoots, and it's saved by Fuhr through traffic. Adam Graves has trouble locating it in the corner, then lost it. Noonan's pass deflects. Hronek, a shot. Fuhr stopped it. Rebound to Dave Brown. He turns and fires it down the other way. There's going to be an icing call against the Oilers.
Jeremy Hronek getting a shot on goal along the ice, but Fuhr handled it rather effectively, kicking it to his right. And then Dave Brown, seeing the heat put on by the Blackhawks by winning the faceoff, made a smart play, just fired it the length of the ice. John Muckler will change his troops in a hurry after seeing that last faceoff situation that was won cleanly by the Blackhawks. The Oilers this year have done a fine job of protecting the lead. 6 times they've had the lead, and 6 times they've won.
Roy Murray tried to shoot it in right from the jaw. It winds up back in the Hawk zone to Manson. Manson, some trouble handling it. Now got it out to center and Troy Murray. And the Hawk penalties coming up. Manson got himself into trouble because he couldn't handle the puck and then took a penalty after. 14 minutes to go in the third.
Greg Simpson has forced 3 penalties against him. Dave Manson misplayed the puck, was hit cleanly by Simpson and took exception to it. Cross-checked Simpson, trailing 4-2. He goes to the penalty box, and the Oilers get their 7th power play of the contest. Bad penalty.
To say that Manson's had an awful night would be to put it kindly. Steve Smith, a long shot now, and Edmonton penalties coming up. Brown knocking down a man in front of Simpson, and the scuffle around the Hawk goal. Initially, it was going to be a penalty on the Oilers, and let's see whether that'll be all that's called right here.
Well, Simpson has been in the center of controversy most of the night. He's had 3 penalties called against him. Keith Brown, Conroy, I think, and then Manson recently, but the penalty was going to be originally called on Simpson for high sticking in front of them. Keith Brown gets away with one. He leveled Simpson after the fact. But no penalty called on Brown.
Flipping it down into the Hog zone. Doug Wilson back. Long feed looking for Larmer. Just bounced away from him. He races after it into the Oilers zone. And they're going to rule him to be offside as he touches it first.
The Hawk bench, all of them standing up, disagreeing with the call, obviously. Doug Wilson with the long pass, and it appeared that Larmer was on his side of the red line. They rule otherwise, and now the faceoff goes to the center ice line.
Well, that tells you that the officials realized the mistake was made, but that doesn't help Mike Keenan right now.
Keith Brown would have had a wide open chance. He was all alone in front when Larmer got the puck to him. Things not going too well in the first 3 games of this road trip for the Blackhawks. 4-3 loss in Vancouver, where they were outplayed badly in the second half of the game. 4-4 tie last night when they had a 4-1 lead in the early part of the second period. They're trailing 4-2 with 13 minutes to go in the third period.
Keith Brown steps over the line. Now it's cleared around to the near side. Wilson holding it in. Got it into the corner. Lowe is there. Lowe having a problem with Troy Murray. Puck came loose along the boards to Brown. Sweeps it across to the far side, and Muni cleared it out to center ice. Here come the Oilers peeking in over the line. His pass deflecting back to the neutral zone. Now Klima lost the handle to Troy Murray. Murray works it over the Oiler line, cuts around a check and shoots one, but Lowe blocked it. It trickled in front to Fuhr, who smothers and takes the whistle.
A 4-on-4 situation, a rarity in today's game, and one of the reasons why the rule was changed is because of the greatness of the Edmonton Oilers. They're prolific in 4-on-4 situations. They won the Stanley Cup because, in a big way, because of 4-on-4 situations. The league goes and changes the rules, so there are no more 4-on-4s. Very few 4-on-4s, I should say. They penalize the Edmonton Oilers because of their excellent abilities to play the game of hockey.
Now the draw taken by Steve Smith. Around the board for Messier. He just shot it down into the Hawk zone. I'm not sure if he realized it was for a side. It's an icing call against the Oilers.
That's about the only mistake Messier's made tonight. 3 assists. He's been excellent for the Oilers. He's been the best player on the ice.
Mark Messier with 3 assists tonight. Now in his career against Chicago with 43 points in 31 career games against the Hawks.
94 points last year. He's off to a great start this year, though, with 34 points. Getting the 3 assists tonight, leading the team in scoring.
Aside from that, there are 20 other coaches in the NHL that would like to bottle his enthusiasm and his competitive fire and pass it around among their squad. Now here's Messier over the line, got Wilson turned around, shoots one, and a save by Chevrier. Doug Wilson, that might be the first time all year he's been beaten one-on-one, but Chevrier bailed him out. Now Steve Smith in the neutral zone. Battles his way over the Hawk line, dropped it for McTavish. Now the Hawk penalty is over. A short power play for Chicago, but the Oilers play some keep away. Messier dropped it back, taken by Muni to Tikkanen. Tikkanen cleared it down into the Hawk zone, and now the Oiler penalty is over, and both teams are back at full strength. Steve Thomas trying to dump it in, couldn't get it deep. Now Thomas has it again at center. Aiding Graham with a long shot, up high off the glass. Roy Murray bumped along the boards. Muni took it away to Lowe. Kevin Lowe put it to the near side. And it's cleared back into Chicago territory. 11 minutes to go in the third period. 4-2 in favor of the Oilers. Greg Muni deep in his own zone. Got it to Lowe. He shot it to center, and Peter Klima steps over the Hawk line. Trying to get around Yanni, but Trent Yanni played the body nicely. And Adam Creighton took it away. Beating Graham. He dumps it into the Oilers' zone. Charlie Huddy gave it away to Yanni. Centered one, too far for Noonan in front. Jeff Smith, 20-year-old rookie, knocked down in the corner. And Anderson put it back into the Hawk zone. Klima chasing after it. He just lets the puck slide free as Brown collapsed on him, and it winds up an icing call against the Oilers. Edmonton leading 4-2. We pause for a regional break. Talent, Pat Foley back in Edmonton. The Blackhawks in some difficulty, trailing the Oilers 4-2. The draw taken by Huddy. Couldn't get it out. Now Murphy picks it up. He couldn't clear it. Wilson centered to Savard in the deep slot, turning. Savard has it in the far circle. Now walks into the slot. Knocked down. A penalty coming up here against the Oilers. As Savard was wheeling and dealing in the Oilers' zone, just as he was ready to pull the trigger, McTavish yanked him down, and the Hawks need badly to cash in on this power play.
This will be their 6th power play of the game. They're 0 for 5. The last one was just a brief one, but Savard using his body to shield the puck from McTavish, holds him off, and then goes down. McTavish goes to the penalty box for a holding at 9:59 of the third period. The Blackhawks trailing 4-2. The difference in the game. The Oilers have 2 power play goals, the Blackhawks with none. Dennis Savard looking to keep the scoring streak alive. It's been 6 games. He's accumulated 12 points in that span.
Troy Murray and Mark Messier for the draw, which Murray wins to Wilson. Centered it, now through to the near side, and Larmer threw it in behind the goal. Savard out to the line for Wilson. His pass deflecting to Yanni. Put it back to Wilson. Far circle Savard. Savard to the side of the net for Troy Murray. Walks over to the boards. Feeds Wilson, who shoots one. Deflected up high. Now into the far corner. Randy Gregg is knocked down. Larmer behind the net trying to poke it loose. Everybody hacking at the bouncing puck. Finally to the line, and Wilson put it across to Yanni. Swings it around the boards. Troy Murray to the far side, and Savard to Wilson, the long one-timer. Pure score! Grant Pure appeared to have made the save, but it trickled past him and just over the goal line. Doug Wilson with the raw power draws the Hawks to within one.
Savard with a nice soft pass to Doug Wilson. He cranked it up, got all of it. Troy Murray in front of the net might have gotten a piece of it, but he distracted Pure enough just by waving his stick at it. I don't know if he touched it or not, but Pure appeared to have it smothered, but it had enough steam to get by him and into the net. And the Blackhawks score on the power play finally, and it's a 4-3 hockey game. Wilson just gets all of it. And Wilson, who has 6 goals in the power play. Wilson gets credit for his 7th goal on the power play this year, and 8th overall.
Savard and Troy Murray assisting Wilson's 8th at 10:44. And the Hawks back to within one. Now in the Hawk zone, here's Adam Creighton battling on the near side. Lost it to Graves. Working against Brown to the corner. Now behind the net, Erickson. He's bumped off the puck by Conroy. Feed Conroy. Able to feed Dirk Graham. Graham lost it to Lowe at center, and the Oilers dumped it in. Now Steve Thomas. It's to Brown deep in his own end to Roenick. Jeremy Roenick. Steve Thomas, who works it over the Oiler line. And it knocks away. Quick counterattack. Here's Klima. Racing in with Murphy. Klima for Murphy. Right in shoot. Not too much of the backhander, and lifted it over the glass and into the crowd.
2 places you have to be very strong. In your own zone at the blue line, you have to make sure you get it out and be strong. And in the opposing line, in an offensive situation, you have to be careful, especially with drop passes. Steve Thomas' drop pass is deflected. The Oilers counter Klima, 2-on-1, too speedy. Former Detroit Red Wings, and Murphy backhand just shoveled it up into the seats using a sandwich. Had too much loft, but Klima, a dangerous customer. Doug Wilson stays in the middle and forces Klima to pass it behind him, a tough pass to make. And then Murphy shovels it high into the crowd. You have to be strong on both blue lines. That drop pass or that pass behind you can cause a lot of problems, especially for your defense. They're going forward anticipating an offensive chance, and then they've got to backpedal in a defensive manner.
Dave Manson back of his own net. Banks it out to center ice. Charlie Huddy has it there to Jeff Smith. And now Savard gets it back. Savard battling over the Edmonton line. Tees it up. Shoots one. Just missed the far post. He's on Larmer. He scores! Steve Larmer picked up the carom off the end boards and hammered it right into the middle of the net. And the Hawks have tied the game at 4.
Dennis Savard and Larmer didn't play much in the first 2 periods, but maybe Keenan was thinking of the 3rd period. A lot of penalties. But Savard with some great work in the neutral zone and some good footwork at the blue line to stay on side and keep the play alive. His shot hit the end boards. Larmer picked it up and fired it. Just ripped it past Pure to tie the game. And Savard gets his 2nd point of the game. Larmer blasts one past Pure to tie it up, and Steve Larmer, with 6 goals in his last 6 games, gets his 10th of the year.
The Blackhawks rally with 2 goals in a minute and a half and have caught the Oilers at 4. Savard and Hudson get the assist on Larmer's 10th at 12:15. Now here's Steve Thomas. For Graham on right wing to the line. Takes the shot, trying to walk around a check and couldn't get through Steve Smith. It trickled in front of Fuhr, who smothers it for a whistle.
Grant Fuhr didn't have much work in the second period. He had a couple of tough saves. That was it. The Blackhawks in the last 10 minutes, with 10 minutes to go, I should say, in this third period, trailing 4-2 all of a sudden. A power play goal by Wilson. Steve Larmer rocket, and it's a tie hockey game. The Blackhawks had struggled in the third period last night and in a loss in Vancouver, and even in a win against Hartford, their last home game, coming on here in the last half of the period.
Now the draw in the Oilers zone. McTavish able to poke it loose out to center ice. Here's Erickson over the Hawk line. He's knocked down by Manson and is cleared to the neutral area. Now Lowe in his own end. Bumped in the corner. Adam Creighton put it in behind the goal. Noonan after they're trying to stuff it in, and Fuhr just got to the far post in time, and the Oilers now a little sluggish looking.
Creighton poke checked the puck in behind the net. Ryan Noonan just took it away. Grant Fuhr was standing in the middle of the net thinking the play was done, but all of a sudden he had to move to the far post. Got his skate pad up against it as Noonan did some nice stick handling to get up front and almost sneak it by Grant Fuhr. Ryan Noonan gets around Greg Muni, an excellent defensive defenseman. Muni signed as a free agent. The Toronto Maple Leafs originally drafted him, but Muni in his last 3 years in a plus-minus is a plus 120. So he's really turned into a solid defensive defenseman for these Oilers.
Here comes Messier racing away for Edmonton. Gets it over the Hawk line. Messier trying to center it. Wilson there to steal. And he got it to Mike Hudson. Beating Larmer on the move on right wing. Crossed the line but forgot the puck. Back come the Oilers. Messier bumped by Keith Brown. And back at center ice is Anderson. He's bumped off the play by Hudson, who shoots it in. Andy Gregg for the Oilers. Gave it to Steve Smith. He rolled it ahead, but Brown there for the Hawks, dumping it ahead for Troy Murray. Leaves for Thomas. Gregg knocked him off the puck, and it came loose to Glenn Anderson, who got it out to center ice. Steve Brown will hammer it right back in. Thomas chasing after it. Tied up, but here's Graham, a shot. Sure! That puck was behind him when he eventually gloved it, and the Hawks narrowly missed grabbing the lead. It's 4-4.
A good diagonal dump in by Keith Brown. A hack at by Thomas, enabling Graham to pick up the puck, and Grant Fuhr moving out to his left, reaches back to his right, and somehow got the glove on it. That puck was behind him when he made the glove save on Dirk Graham.
Now Manson dumping it into the Oilers zone. Fuhr cleared it to the far side. Murphy tied up by Yanni. Creighton behind the goal. Trying to center it. Secord hit the goal post. Al Secord had a great chance and beat Fuhr only to have it hit the post. Behind the net is Lowe. Got it to McTavish. Here come the Oilers out. Craig McTavish. Got it over the line to Murphy. Joe Murphy stopped. Oh, and the play is offside. The players didn't hear the whistle for a moment. And they continued on for a second or two, but the offside whistle had blown. The Blackhawks, after being outplayed by quite a margin in the second, now have outshot the Oilers 10-3 here in the third.
He's done most of the work in the last half of the period. Adam Creighton, great work in behind the net. Circled up front, passed it out to Secord. His shot rattled off the goalpost with Fuhr down. A tough block for Secord. Fuhr made a great save on Dirk Graham, and he gets lucky with a post on a Secord shot.
Here's Messier for McTavish at center. Bouncing it into the Hawk zone. Secord wants a whistle along the boards, and he'll get one.
Well, Secord hadn't played in 18 games. He's had some good scoring chances, and really has acquitted himself in a fine manner from not having played. He's done an excellent job on the left wing. Greg Gilbert missing the game. He received a bad cut of just above the ankle in a block shot attempt last night in Calgary. Wayne Presley not in uniform as well with a bad hand. In the first period, Conroyd was whacked in the face and had to get stitches, so he missed most of the first period. The Blackhawks have been injury-free the first quarter of the season, now starting to get some nagging injuries. I think the great number of games they played in a short period of time, plus the traveling, is starting to take its toll.
I'll tell you, we wondered about the Hawks' conditioning when the last 3 games in the third period, the opposition has had much the better of the play. We can dispel that speculation right here because the Hawks have given the Oilers all they wanted more here in the third period. This being the third game in 4 nights as well for Chicago, so...
Well, it might have been just a mental attitude, you know, that a lot of people talking about trying not to lose the hockey game, and sometimes you get in a defensive shell and you forget to skate.
Minutes left in regulation time. Even at 4 is Steve Smith. Pushed it ahead to center. And Murphy shoots it in. Hudson tied up behind the net. Puck came free to Murphy in the corner. Joe Murphy. Took a bump from Hudson, but he got away from him. Now centered it. Gregg at the line. Held it in. A long shot is blocked by Savard. Steve Smith kept it in there. Back behind the net, Manson. Cleared it to the far side, and Savard leaves it in the corner. Randy Gregg is on it. Gregg to the deep slot for Klima. Back pass to Smith, along wrist shot. Blocked in front. Now it's centering pass. And Gregg couldn't connect. Joe Murphy gathers it in. Murphy poked it in there deep. And Manson just levels Pekin in. Let's see if there'll be just one penalty or two.
Well, Manson better hope that Tikkanen gets one as well, but
better hope.
He cross-checked him at least 3 times. With 2 minutes to go in a 4-4 hockey game, he better hope that Tikkanen gets sent to the box as well, but it doesn't appear to be. Oh, Manson is losing control here. Gives Tikkanen 1 shot, gives him another. And that last one is the one that will send him to the penalty box, and Tikkanen as well goes to the box. So Newell gives Manson a break here, and the Blackhawks in the last 2 minutes, 19 seconds in a 4-4 hockey game.
Coincidental penalties to Tikkanen and Manson.
Hawks have had 6 power plays in this game. The Edmonton Oilers have had 7. 2
minutes for roughing, plus 2 minutes for cross-checking. The Oilers number 8 gives our team 2 minutes for slashing, plus 2 minutes for cross-checking.
Double minors for each player, Manson and Tikkanen. So should this game go into extra time, they'll each be lost for about half of overtime hockey. Face off to the right of Chevrier. Murray and Messier get ready. Here's the draw, taken by Graham. Rolled it ahead for Thomas, who motors in over the line. Thomas with a shot, blocked by Gregg in front. Conroy chops at it, and a save by Fuhr. Rebound to the far side. Thomas is there. Centered one. Conroy couldn't field the bouncing puck. Now the Oilers able to clear it to center. Hawks dumping it right back in. Greg Simpson for Edmonton. Drops it back to Steve Smith, and again to Simpson. Simpson got it to center ice, then flipped it ahead. Graham just barely able to whack it loose from Messier, who was moving into the Hawk zone. Now Doug Wilson to the line with a long shot is blocked by Muni, who went down to block it. And Kevin Lowe swings it around the boards. 1.5 minutes to go in the third. Erickson in his own end. Got help from Lowe, who bounced it ahead to Messier. Messier got it to Erickson, and he's tied up at center, but Muni carries on. Takes a long shot sailing wide. And it's up on the mesh behind the Hawk net. So the whistle sounds. 64 seconds left to go in the third period. One thing the Oilers have really had in their favor of late, the schedule. The last 2 games they've played, their opponents have played in Calgary against the difficult Flames the night before. The Buffalo Sabres got a tie in Calgary, then had to come in here the next night and were shut out 3-0 by the Oilers. And same situation for Chicago. They got a tie in Calgary and have to come in here the next night to face an Edmonton team that did not play the previous night. But in the late stages of this game, it's been the Hawks who have had the better of it. A testament to their conditioning, which they feel is the best in the league. Here's Savard with a bouncing puck, but he shot it wide. Now Adam Graves in his own end. Bumped by Hudson, allowing Savard to steal it to Brown. The long shot up off the glass. Into the corner goes Conroy, kicking it loose behind the net. Conroy centered it, deflecting to Larmer. Put it to Brown. Here it comes. He shot it just wide. Now Savard on the far board. Half a minute to go. Hudson behind the net took a hit. Kevin Lowe gathers in the loose puck. And out come the Oilers. Lowe gave it to Graves. Shot it into the Hog zone, chasing it himself. Heath Brown bumped in behind the goal. Now Troy Murray able to feed Thomas. Here's the last rush of the game. Graham put it over the line to Troy Murray. And he'll run out of time as the siren sounds, and we're going to...
The Blackhawks, though, after that, hit 2 goalposts and were robbed by a Grant Fuhr save on Dirk Graham.
In the third period, the Hawks outshot the Oilers 13-4, and now have taken a 32-31 edge in total shots for the game. Here's the lead for Messier. He's onside, chasing and shoots. Oilers